Okay, I'm here in Santa Monica, literally down the street from where I stay in Santa Monica, and this is Bill. And Bill is a rescue dog. He is, I believe, a Bassett Pit mix, and he's been in the house for about a month. Now, Bill is a good dog, except for he has a problem with white males. So he might have, I'm guessing he was a street dog. He might have had some white males that chased him out of his yard from trying to knock over trash cans. We don't know what it was. But as a result, he is very reactive of other people. So I'm going to have you kind of, Dolly, if you can cross your arms and don't give me any more treats right now. I'm going to just kind of show you, this is hopefully going to be the before. And one of the things happens is Bill kind of reacts when people move unexpectedly. Now, she has treats when we're practicing this, so he might be a little distracted, but we'll see how he does. There we go. Thank you, buddy. That is exactly what we were looking for. Okay, so what he's saying there, I'm going to tell them what you're saying. What he's saying right there is, I didn't give you permission to move. Now, if I give him a treat right now, I'd be giving him a treat for doing this. So I'm redirecting him down. I want at least 3 seconds between his outbursts before he does it. Down. I asked him to sit, then I asked him to down, and then I rewarded him with the down and with the treat. So now he's kind of chilled out, and I'm giving him a lot of positive reinforcement during the session. You can see he's giving me his back, which is something that a dog usually will not do. All right, so what we're going to try to do is touch his nose with the treat. And actually, let's get him to go over here a little bit. There you go. Yeah. And then put the treat to his nose and turn it this way. And pull it towards you. Yeah, it's a little bit tight quarters, so this is going to be interesting camera work. But we have a professional who's taking care of business. Okay, so what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to show the Guardian how she can use the principle of counter conditioning to stop Bill from barking at me when I move around. And tell him to sit. Right now, take the treat away. Now, if he's not doing what you want while you're letting him chew on a treat, then he's not going to listen at all. So give him that, rest that treat and say sit. There we go. And how many of those pieces do you have left that I gave you? That I pre-smashed for you. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking the Tricky Trainer chicken liver treats, I'm smashing them so they're flat like pancakes. When we do this so we can actually control how much treat the dog has access to in any one bite. What we're going to do is, I'm going to actually show you real quick. Hey, Bill, buddy, come here. We need better camera presence. There we go. All right, Bill, sit down. Sit. So now I can, if you watch, I can control where he looks by moving the treat up and down, left and right. Now when I'm doing this, I'm making sure that I'm not blocking his visual acuity. I don't want to have my hand in front of him like this. I want to hold it like this underneath. Now the Guardian right here is going to be basically pointing him in this direction, and I'm going to get up and walk back and forth that way. I believe the camera guy is going to be right over there when we get ready to do this. And basically what we want to have happen for counter conditioning is we want Bill to be getting a treat delivered first before the stimulus happens. In this case, I'm going to be the stimulus. And Bill, everybody, let's position you right. Sit. There we go. All right, so I'm going to have you, let me give you this one last one. And I'm going to back up here. Go ahead and start letting him chew on it. Make sure he's looking at you.
At you.
Yep. There you go. A little bit higher. Now in this case, all I'm doing is one little movement. I'm standing up and then sitting down. Now when you're doing this, you want to be delivering the treat, or the reinforcer is what this is referred to, first. So hold on one sec. So before I move, I want her delivering the treat. Then I'm going to stand up again. I'm going to do that maybe once or twice. Try to keep him positioned. Yeah, I'll reposition him for you. But so basically the idea is he's looking at me and having the treat delivered first, and then the stimulus starts moving. And I'm going to move very slowly. I'm going to turn around and come back. All right, let's go ahead and start and make sure he's looking at me. There we go. A little bit higher. He's a little cross-eyed. There we go. Now right there, the stimulus got, the reinforcer got finished being delivered. So let's go ahead and do it again. Now I also was doing a lot of movements. I stood up and moved. So we'll just go ahead and just do the stand up. And you can have him, there you go. And you can have him put his back to you and facing me, whatever's easier for you to get in a position. Oh, that's very good. All right, go ahead and just start delivering, and I'm gonna, there you go. And finish letting out the rest. All right, do that again. A little bit more towards me. So ask him to come a little bit closer, yeah. It'll help if you drop a treat right by the couch and then pick it right up. There you go. There you go. All right. All right. And once I sit down, you can release the rest of it in there. Let's do that again. Keep it real quick before he turns. There you go. There we go. And again, I'll take 2 steps this time. Keep on moving as you're ready. So you see right there at the end, when you're doing this, and this is on me, I should have said this. So when you're about to be out, say out before you run out, and then I'm going to freeze at that point wherever I am. So the only time that he's getting movement or getting the treat delivery is when movement is going on.
Out.
And then pull another one out and continue.
Out.
A little bit lower. There you go.
Out.
And one more. You're literally out.
I'm literally out.
A little more towards me. There you go. So you see, those steps, we didn't have any reaction from Bill because he was getting a reinforcer delivered. Now, I've done this with a lot of dogs that like to chase motor scooters or bark at skateboards or rollerblades or people on birds or whatever it is. So the idea is we want the dog to be having the stimulus delivered or the reinforcer delivered first, then this stimulus happens in a low level of intensity. I was moving slow, I was only going 1 or 2 steps at a time, and we're going at the dog's pace of speed. If the dog stops taking the treat, it's getting ready to react, and we have to have the stimulus, or in this case, me, stop moving. So when you do this, what you want to do is you want to arrange to have friends come over that will listen to you. Now, it seems like your friends would all do that, but when it comes to dogs, people are like, but I'm good with dogs. Let me show you how good I am with dogs. And your dog bit me. Why did your dog bite me? Because you did what I asked you not to do. So make sure whoever comes over maybe watches this video, and we want to have them, they have to stop in precision just like I did. After a while, like I talked to you about the guy throwing the $100 bill in your car, after a while the dog doesn't have a problem with people moving around because every time people move around, I get really good stuff happening to them. And then we can have the person moving a little bit faster and more steps and more frequently, and then the dog just doesn't react at all. Bill, sit. And I got a little bit stiff there. So for dog body language, let me talk about a couple of other things that we want to watch. So his pupils have been really good throughout, but direct eye contact is a challenge for a lot of dogs, and he did have a problem with that a little bit with me, and his guardians have noticed that as well. So right there, he kind of froze, so I didn't continue petting him. That freeze is his way of saying, I'm not comfortable with you petting me yet, buddy. And that's fine. I'm building trust with him by listening to what he says. Most of us don't know what the dogs are saying, and that's why I'm going to go through this body language right now. So if a dog stares at you either directly or indirectly, I'm looking at the camera, I'm just doing it in a more of a dog way, those are big warnings. If the dog freezes or starts moving slowly, also a big warning. If they're breathing heavily or holding their breath, big warning. The pupils dilate. Right now his pupils look good. Hackles going up, I think you guys mentioned that when I first come in. That's like an involuntary reflex. The best analogy I can come up with that is like your goosebumps going up or your nipples getting hard if you go into a cold room or something like that. It's involuntary. Now it does mean that he's aroused, not in a sexual way, but invigorated. And so by itself, I wouldn't be concerned about that. But if I do see, hackles going up and he's staring, his pupils are dilated, his ears are rotating forward, his tail's straight up, that would be okay, now he's telling me in multiple ways that he's uncomfortable. Tail wagging does not mean happy, it means excited. Where the tail is wagging is more important. Now, one of the things I actually, if you're interested in this, a lot of my clients find this funny or interesting later on, is knowing how the dog's tail wags in relation to different experiences. So he loves going to the dog park. We're right down the street from Jocelyn Dog Park. And so if we go to the dog park, maybe have a camera and film his tail on your way to the dog park. You start seeing it go, it starts going in loops or just on one side or the other. And after a while, you start recognizing these are good tail signals. Then we have somebody else, there's a guy coming by, get your camera out real quick. Film him and have one of you step in the street and film him so you can see his tail. And then right before he reacts, you can watch that video later on and find out what his individual tells are. Maybe he lowers his head, stares, crinkles his lips back, licks his lips, and then the hackles go up, and then he launches himself. So if you recognize all these things, then when he gives you the first sign, he gives you the first signal like a stare, you say, focus. He doesn't have the focus yet. They just started working on this. He's getting ready to go to sleep. This is tiring work for him. This has been 2 hours. But when he has to have a focus, if he's like staring at somebody, you say, focus, he looks up, and he looks over here, and then a treat's coming this way, and we let the other person walk around the corner or walk by it. Redirecting a dog before it reacts is key. Once he is reacting, he is not going to listen to anything that you're saying. So once he's reacting, the only course of action is to increase the distance between him and whatever he's reacting to until he can calm down. Then maybe do a focus exercise or whatever it is, and then try to bring him back in a very measured way like I talked to you about earlier going to the dog park. If the dog starts pulling, they're getting out of balance. If you let them continue pulling, they're going to be like, all right, man, what's going on? And they're all crazy. And that energy is going to, and we just got a little bit of a growl. You should never punish a dog for growling. That's a warning. He just told me, I didn't like that energy. That little outburst you did is inappropriate. We don't want it in the house. Now, we've addressed all these things by, earlier in the session, we've gone over a number of rules and structure so that he can start seeing his humans acting like leaders so that he doesn't think his guard dog skills are necessary. Bill. That was a little bark outside. Come here. Sit. Now, the counter conditioning principle that I showed you at the beginning of this is something we can also use for dogs like that. And I talked to the guardians about this earlier. Can you just do me just a favor, just knock on the floor like it's the door? Well, normally he would be reacting to that. That was a little delayed, but that's what I was looking for. So we can do the same sort of principle, and it is a little bit of a howl. So I think you do have some little Bassett in you. Sit. Sit. So for that, I can do a couple things. First of all, I can knock just when nobody's coming through the door, and after a while, he'll stop reacting. The other thing you do is, I gotta wait for him to not be reacting. All right, let me do this. So as soon as he stopped chewing, I stopped knocking. But it's the same principle. Now the knock means I'm getting the best treat I've ever had. And this is classical conditioning. This is Pavlov's dog. All right, sit.